Truly African.
But just like you, I've also admired her. And so I have the opportunity to welcome Madam Portia Solomon. She's a greater for panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm a very shy person, though. I'm a very shy person, but I do it well on stage. That's the only difference. But I'm indeed humbled to be here with you this afternoon for us to have this important conversation. When I won Journalist of the Year, I underestimated what it meant for young girls in Ghana till I saw a little girl with disability who came all the way from Navrongo to Accra to look for me. And she was a little person, a condition known as dwarfism. And she came to say that I did a news item on dwarfism in Ghana. And she had never seen anyone with that condition on television, and because of that, she wanted to become the first little person or a person with dwarfism in Ghana to read the news on television. Just because of the power of the media. At the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, I was asked to work from the house. And guess what I did? I was so sad during that period. Because I was a woman, I was asked to work from home. So at home, I was angry seeing the news stories on COVID-19 on television. It was all about facts and figures, but no one went inside the isolation centers and the treatment centers to do a story on COVID-19. So I decided that one day, while my editor was away, I sneaked back in the newsroom, got a cameraman, we went to the Gais Municipal Hospital with no prior appointments, and I told the medical officer that I wanted to go inside and speak with all COVID-19 patients, and he just looked at me, and then we went to do that story. And how many people watched that story? And that paved the way for other women to also follow suit and do that because of one person. Lastly, when I started my career as a journalist, you read the news with your male anchor, and all questions on politics, when it comes to interviews, they'll give it to the man to do that. Have you seen that on television? They give the soft topics to the woman to do, and then they give the difficult ones to the men to do, right? One day while reading the news, there were 3 interviews, and they pushed all to my male news anchor to do that interview. And it sparked anger in me, so I quickly ran to my news editor, and I was like, am I that bad that I can't do an interview? And then he realized, oh, they were indeed making a mistake in the company. And after that, changes were made. But I learned one lesson, that when a woman speaks up for herself, she speaks up for other women also. In 2017, there was a Nobel laureate, Malala Yousafzai. How many of you know her? Malala. She won the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 17 years. And she made a profound statement. She said there are 3 powers in the world. The first one is the power of the sword. The second one is the power of the pen. And then there's the power which passes all these 2 other powers. And it's the power of women. And we've seen the important role that women play in national development. So today, we are just here to do this discussion. Each and every woman here has a voice. Some have a really loud voice, and some can only manage with a soft voice and a little shrill, right? But no matter how small your voice is, make sure that it is heard. And if you have a very loud voice here, make sure you amplify the voices of those whose voices cannot go far. And today we are here to do this all-important discussion with a team of panel. I'll first introduce Madam Catherine Morton. She is the Executive Director of EIB International. Let's clap for her as she comes along. I also have Maame Ama Pratt. She is General Manager of Pan-African TV. Please join us. Yes. We also have Tracy Owusu Addo. She's founder of EIB Network Foundation. And then we have
Adriana Akosua Adjei. She's head of CSR at EIB Network. And we are indeed blessed to have all of them here for this all-important discussion. And let me first start. So we're having the discussion on making impact through innovation, leadership, and career, the woman factor. But first, there was this news anchor at NBC in the USA. She was having a major news program, and all of a sudden, they sat her to make another woman come and read the news because she was more beautiful, she was white, while Tamron Hall was black. And she learned a lesson that day. She said, when your complimentary card has nothing but just your name, who are you? So let me begin with Tracy. Who are you when your complimentary card has nothing but just your name?
Well, yeah, I mean, most people know me as success. But my name is Tracy Owusu Addo. I'm the founder of Brave Foundation, where we empower young women. But my background is also media and communications, and I have been doing this for the past 7-8 years or so. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Maame Pratt, who are you when the complimentary card does nothing but just your name?
So
let's listen.
Yeah, my background is in English. You know, I did English and Sociology from the University of Ghana, and then I did law from the University of Birmingham. I have chunk of interest, not so much of interest. Presently, I manage Pan African TV. Founder Obaasima Foundation. There are other interests that I'm really, passionate about. But my most important thing, the thing that I hope leads, who I am, or perhaps the essence of my being, would be the advancement of the woman, not in isolation, but in tandem with the advancement of the world. So all of us moving forward, building the society that we want, but never leaving the woman behind, letting the woman lead that journey.
Thank you so much, Captain. Who are you when your complimentary card has nothing but just your name?
yeah, so just like Ama, I share the passion for women's rights. I've been an advocate for women since I started, my career. I have a career that is rooted in sports. Believe it or not, it might not look like it, but I'm managing partner, co-founder of the Millennium Marathon, which is happening next Saturday. Yes, so I'm also the founder of She Plays GH. It's a women's organization that is championing and helping women to unlock their power through sports, primarily through tennis, volleyball, and other sports that women are not known to play. But my role here today is the executive director of EIB International, an organization that is, amongst other women's organizations, helping to advance women's sports in Ghana and around the world. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Adriana Akosua Adjei. Who am I? Okay, so my career, I started with engineering, but along the line, my career path, I veered into social work. I've done social support work with Media Journal for, I worked with Media Journal for about 18 years. And then later I left to EIB Network. But wherever I go, I establish a foundation and manage it. So as the discussion goes on, maybe you know more about me.
Okay, so let me begin with you, Maame Ama Pratt. It's been a year of firsts when it comes to females in leadership positions in universities. from KNUST, UDS, Ghana Institute of Journalism, we've had the first female SLC president. What does this mean for female empowerment?
Everything. Everything. To say, from 2019, when we started actively going into campuses for Obaasima campus stores, this was our biggest conversation. So for every time we met with our young ladies, our conversation was that let us not restrict ourselves to the position of WUCO. It seemed like a box had been created for us, and we're all existing in that box. So for all of these universities that we went to, and we went with people that appealed to you, the National Course, the Carolines, Joyce Barr, all these, and of course, Saxons and Portia, So our conversations were one, that you can. Listen, there's no population anywhere that doesn't have more women than men. Campus population, country population, continent population, anything, think of any population. There are more women than men. For me, leadership should be a representation of what is. So the leader that you have should represent you in terms of numbers, in terms of gender, all of these things. Let's take GIJ for instance. GIJ has 80% female population. So they are 20% male, 80% female. How is it that you have a leadership that has one woman as the WUCO? So you are saying that the 20% is the leadership of this. It's that it just didn't add up. I am excited that this year it seems as though the tables have turned in almost all the universities, even the ones that presently do not female SRC presidents. There were female SRC contenders who were second, right? I've met from here. Give me her name, you know her. Oh, you ladies, come on, that girl, right? So all of these universities have had women actively at the front of these elections. My prayer, I mean, you asked me how that makes me feel. I can't put it to words. I wrote on Facebook that if I could twerk, I would, right? If I could twerk, I would twerk for mornings. Perhaps if I what it takes to twerk. Actually, that's what I should say. Right? I know, thank you. And that's the most important thing, No, but that's how I'm feeling. I'm excited that right now we have proven that it is not about gender, it is about capacity. And once you put up your hand, you can fail, but you can succeed. If you fail, what's the worst? You try again, right? KNUST, she contested twice. She went the first time, she failed. She went again. The first time when she failed, we spoke. She was very devastated. You know, as women, because it's not our terrain, we feel it. More painful for us, and we are shy. I went and I failed. But no, she went again. And right now, Yvonne is the KNUST president. Fati, GIG, amazing lady. And the transformation from the Fati that used to sit in the back of conferences to the Fati that is the SRC president of GIG, amazing, amazing. So for me, it is the truest indication that when you decide to do it, the only thing that can stop you is you. Finish.
Thank you so much.
And for technical university, what is the saying over there? Do you have a female leading city? I'm from TT. Okay, Accra Technical University. No. Not yet. If somebody else wants to contest. Who? She said she wants. I know, okay now, so you know you can't see Tracy. For mainly women in deprived communities and in a cycle of economic and financial hardship, compelled them to resort to unconventional ways to make money, even to pay their school fees. What compelled you to come up with the Brave Foundation?
So for me, Brave was really a passion project. It was something that when I came back to Ghana after living in Germany for 15 plus years, I was like, I looked at that experience and how that really shaped me as a person and the person that I am today. And I was like, it would have been great if everybody has the opportunity. But obviously, not everyone has the opportunity to travel. So how do we manifest that? How do we make that possible in my own little way, the experience that I've had, the people that I've met, the network that I've been able to create for myself? How do I give that back to young women? And obviously the passion to see other young women also succeed and thrive, as Ama is saying. So it was through that idea and initiative and passion that I was like, okay, let's put something together that empowers us as young women, not just in the ordinary sense where we say, oh, like we are telling them to go into leadership positions and all of those things, but how do we actually get there? It's about the doing, right? And with my foundation, we make sure we give training, not just mentorship, but then also technical training. Because I realize also a lot of the young women or students in general, when they come out of university, they usually lack relevant industry skills. And relevant industry skills are very much important when you try to get into the workforce. It's not just about the theory that you learn in university. You might want to do internships and all of those things, but obviously a lot of people also wait till national service to actually get into the workspace, and that is pretty much late. So the idea of Brave is, okay, we empower you, we try and give job positions, internship opportunities. So some of the students that have gone through our training, we do some training with GIZ, and some of them have even gotten part-time jobs out of those initiatives. So really about adding on to the student experience and making sure that they come out being a wholesome person, not just in the academic sense, but also in the professional sense. And apart from that, we also support with health, because we realize women's issues are very complex. It's a 360 approach. If you are helping women to go into leadership positions, you also have to realize there are certain burdens and things that stop them into getting there. One of those things is health. And health, we realize, okay, with sanitary pads, menstrual hygiene, how do girls, when they're menstruating, they either, if they don't have access to clean sanitary wear, they're either then staying home and saying, okay, I'm going to stay home for the next 5 days until I'm done. And that is, if you calculate the amount of days throughout the year, that is quite a lot, where a girl misses school and the education that she's supposed to have to be able to realize her potential. So, yeah.
Let me come to you, Catherine. The statistics are not encouraging at all. So, according to the UN, it would take 300 years to end child marriage, 286 years to close the gap in legal protection and remove discriminatory laws, 140 years to be represented equally in positions of power and leadership at the workplace, 47 years to achieve equal representation in national parliament. Now, the Sustainable Development Goal 5 on gender equality is the only goal the UN has come to say we will not achieve this by 2030. Now, we have 7 years to even get to 2030. In international, what are you doing even now in your own small way to empower the Ghanaian woman to contribute to national development?
Yeah. I think the statistics sound quite daunting about. I believe everything is possible when there is will. We can achieve more than we think we can. With us at EVE International, I think that one of the reasons why Lady Juliet decided that we should form this organization was the fact that a reservoir of knowledge and skills amongst Ghanaian women, but particularly outside of Ghana. We've had a lot of women, repatriated, in other countries that are doing remarkable things. And we thought there was a need to create that connection so that that level of skills can be exchanged. Ghanaian women here can be privy to things that can elevate us and get us, on the same standing as women who are in the developed world and around the world. In reaching the UN Sustainable Development Goals, I think that, first of all, there is need for legislature and change of policy, and that is one area that EIB International really focuses on, advocacy work. Last year in December, we had the EIB Women's Summit on the status of Ghanaian women, where we discussed laws that are, preventing women in Ghana from achieving their potential. Some of the things that came up, for example, I think Madam Joyba was here today talking about the affirmative action, spousal rights bill, equal work pay, and a lot of these laws that are required to gain gender parity are areas that I think women should focus on. We went to Parliament, we spoke to the women members of Parliament, and even though they're just 40, we believe that when we decide to get up and advocate and make noise, I think our voices will be heard. Amma said it, we are 52%. We are more than the men, and so if we all decide to collectively come up and make noise and advocate, I think that things will change. Also, in terms of advocacy, one thing that I think that we see lacking is education, and that is something that women need a lot of. A lot of us do not know about the laws that even affect us. So if we don't know about the laws, if we are not educated, how can we get up and make noise about it? So we also want to educate women about the laws that govern us, things that we need to know, things that help us to make informed decisions, to help us in our lives, in our career and leadership also. This is an angle that we think when we focus and help women to achieve this, we can actually work towards achieving the parity that we are all looking for. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Let me come to you, Akosua. At Media General, I remember when I first started the journalism profession, I needed to do a story. But first, the story was given to a man. He went to a community called Tomefa. The member of parliament had donated drinks in that community because 2 children had drowned while on their way to school. And so my male colleague went to do the story on that donation. So when he came back, I was going through the stories in the newsroom and I realized there was something wrong. They did not need drinks in the community. They either needed life jackets to go to school or they needed a school in the community. So I went back to the community and I redid the story that my male colleague did. And that story won me 2 awards at the Ghana Journalist Awards. Not to blow my horn, but it means that the woman factor matters because I was empathetic. My male colleague did not think about that, but I had empathy and I did the story in a nice way. So I'm coming to the expert in CSR project, Akosua. Why is it important to have the woman factor when it comes to corporate social responsibility projects and policies?
First, I will explain what CSR is, corporate social responsibility. Currently, organizations are using it as a strong PR tool to get what they want in terms of partnerships, in terms of cash, in terms of endearing the heart of their target groups to their organizations. And you realize that a lot of people are really doing bits and pieces of CSR, but they don't really know how to focus on what they really want to do. CSR has a lot of focus, but it is based on what you are doing. For example, when I started working with TV3, Media General in 2004, I am very old. Okay, so I I started school, I started working at a very tender age, around 17, 18. Yes, right from secondary school, when I was supposed to wait in the house for my results to come, I went to do photo science at Tema Technical Institute. So when you do that 2-year course, you get the opportunity to go and do industrial attachment. I went to GBC to do my industrial attachment. It was supposed to be 3 months, but they liked what I was doing, and I also loved what I was doing. So they roped me into the department that I was working with. I started with camera works because I did photo science, but at that point, with my tiny, I was very tiny. With my tiny self, I couldn't handle their big cameras. So at some point, I was transferred to do editing. It was editing that got me my first salary. I learned on the job. So one day, how I ended up at Media General, one day a friend of mine came to visit me, and she said she was going to Media General to submit her internship letter. And I said, okay, then let me follow you with my own. I printed one of mine. We went to Media General, and I thought they were going to give us some weeks, months to come back, and they said we should start work the following day. So at that tender age, I was juggling between Media General and GBC. I'll go to GBC at 8 a.m., do my editing, finish at 2 p.m., go to TV3 at 3 p.m. I don't know whether they started transmission at 3 because they were TV3 at that time. But I'll go to TV3 to do my editing and then close at 8 p.m. At some point, I had to choose between TV3 and GBC, but I decided on TV3 because with GBC, I was working with the age gap between the people I was working with was very wide, and sometimes you go to work and they want to treat you like their child, not maltreatment in a way, but they want to mentor you, they want to yeah. But when I go to TV3, I meet my age mates. At that time, Emma Morrison is not my age mates, but I'll meet them. I'll meet Nanaba, I'll meet Kitty Dingley, I'll meet. At that time, Portia, I was schooling at the same time, working, and I was schooling and working at the same time. So Portia was my mate at that time. She was in school, I was working. So I did that for some time, and then when it was time for me to choose between the two, I chose TV3 because of obvious reasons, and I was able to work there for 18 years. Yeah. And with the 18 years, with the 18 years, I didn't work with only one department. I started with camera works. I did production. I did. I hosted some few short documentaries. I did HR. I did journalism. Later, I was transferred into the newsroom. I did reporting. But at some point, I because of what I studied, I realized a very huge gap at Media General. So myself and some few friends of mine, we came together to create a department. What we realized was that for over 20 years, TV3 didn't have a corporate affairs department. So myself and 3 friends of mine, we created that department and managed it. But how I came in was the stories that I was doing in the newsroom. At that time, journalists would want to, we call them DJs, They would want to do the political stories because that is when you meet the ministers, you meet the president and all those things. So when the social support stories come, the editor will say, oh, Mufama Akosua. Then I would do it. But what I realized was that any story, social support that I do, it goes on TV and people troop in to come and give support to the person that I am reporting on. So apparently this person who came to be the corporate affairs manager in at Media General during my time said he followed my stories and he wanted to have a meeting with me. We had a meeting and he said he wants to create a corporate affairs department, but he will need a CSR manager. He will need a corporate communications manager. He settled on a corporate communications manager, but it was left with the CSR manager. I told him that I have not done anything in corporate affairs. I don't know what he's talking about. He said, I'll teach you. I actually learned on the job before even going to school to learn what it really is. Apparently, I was doing bits and pieces of all the things that I learned in school without knowing. So I felt at some point that that was my passion. That is what I really wanted to do, but I just found myself doing engineering. Yeah.
Thank you. So we can give her the whole day. She writes lots and lots and lots of books. I will come back to you. But Tracy, you're also a financial literacy advocate. Many women make decisions and they cannot make decisions when it comes to finance. Not many even own bank accounts, especially those in deprived communities. Why is it important for a woman to have control over her own finances, especially when it comes to women's empowerment? We talk about empowering the woman, but when it comes to financial empowerment, we are not there. Why is it important for us to buy our own house, buy our own car, and be in control over our finances?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, financial literacy is I think it's a key part of any woman who wants to excel in their career in life or in general in family life, because even managing a family, you still need to be able to be financially literate enough to manage your house accounts and stuff like that. And first of all, that includes having a bank account. You would be shocked, but there are a lot of women or even men out there who do not have bank accounts in this day and age, even though we are in a digital society right now. For me, I'll talk from experience why I think financial literacy is so important. I remember being in uni, and to be honest, I put myself through uni, I would say. In Europe, you usually, when you're going to university, I went to university in the UK, and you get student loans to pay for your tuition, which at that time was £3,000 or so per year. And also your pocket money, I was getting, in Germany, there's something called BAföG, and that is like a student stipend that you also get, but it's not really that much. So obviously you have to work as well to kind of support yourself with the money that you are getting. And that was what I was doing. But somehow, some way, university life, the money no rich, like. and so, yeah. So for me, that was, at that point, I was like, okay, I need to somehow survive, because living in the UK, this was not even London, no, this is Nottingham. Living in the UK is not cheap. Like, you're paying for your rent, your day-to-day, your friends, you want to go out for drinks and all of those things, but you're calculating your money at the end of the month and it's like, it's not working. So I decided, okay, I need to start a business, like I need to do something. And for me, work has been something that has been a part of me for the longest, because I remember I had my first job at the age of 16. I was taking out newspapers at that time. And when I was in uni and I realized the money wasn't coming, I decided to start a business, and I started a hair extensions business at that time. That was at the height of when hair extensions and bundles were becoming the craze with young girls. I actually didn't even have money to start the business, so what I was doing was that I found a Chinese supplier on AliExpress, and I posted like the bundles. I think at that time Facebook was big, and I posted it on Facebook. And then I started advertising with £10 or so. I did Facebook adverts, and I gave, I used my own money, the bit of money that I had. I bought like a bundle of henna, and I gave it to an influencer to post. And it was crazy. Like, with no money, I think I made maybe £1,000 at the end of the month just selling hair with no money. But so what I'll do is, someone will order the hair, I'll take the money, I'll buy the hair with their money, and then I'll keep my profit. So usually then I'll tell you, oh, processing time is 5 to 7 days. So by that time with DHL, I would get the bundle and send it to you, and you wouldn't even know that that's what I was doing, right? So that was how, for me, I realized the power of being financially free to be able to buy stuff for yourself and be able to manage your finances. And I remember when I made that £1,000 at the end of the month, obviously the first time, so I was like, I want to blow the money. If I had kept that money and then invested it, I wouldn't, like, the business would have, like, obviously boomed. I mean, I did it throughout the time that I was new, but that really helped me to know how to manage my finances, how to make money. And at this day and age, I think it's even easier. There are so many avenues on how you can make money from the comfort of your home without actually anybody seeing your face. You can sit here in Ghana and actually open a storefront on Amazon in America, but a lot of you don't know. You don't have to. You can be here and register a business in America. Do you know that, right? You can, in America, before you can register a business, there's something called EIN. It's like your TIN number. A business, you don't have to live in America. You can go through something called a business corporation where you can register a business in America. You pay about $120 or so. You get an EIN number. You get a virtual address in America, and then use that as your business address, and then register your business on Amazon, eBay, wherever that may be. You can find vendors through AliExpress, Alibaba, whatever it is, and be doing business, earning dollars here in Ghana, whilst your business is somewhere in wherever. Do you get what I mean? So that's why, for me, I think it's so easy nowadays for us to all be financially literate and actually make money. But we always sit back, especially as women, we sit back and we're like, oh, I'm waiting to get married, or some guy to come and give me money, or do this, or someone to invest in me to be able to start a business. But I went to a program and I said this. You all know Warren Buffett, right? He's someone who we know as who's invested in businesses, who's done so much. He's a billionaire. And one thing that he said was, he would never give anybody money who has not actually started a business and failed. If you haven't failed, means you don't have any experience. So why would I come and give you $1,000 or $5,000 to start a business whilst you haven't even started something on your own? And that is, I think, the key for a lot of us, young women and men, that we wait, expect someone to hand us manna, and then start something with it. But you would probably not be successful in the first phase. It takes 3, 4, 5 times for you to be successful in something that you do. Fine, you can, not everybody is an entrepreneur, and I understand that. If you're not an entrepreneur, it's okay to go and work for somebody. But even if you're working for somebody, you need to be still giving your all. Because at the end of the day, if the person's business is thriving, that's how you also get paid. And you might even get a raise. But you sometimes go into offices and you see young people sitting there and they're like, yeah, I mean, I'm just here. I'm just whiling away time. But you actually think you're doing the person a disservice, but you are doing yourself a disservice, because first of all, you're actually not learning anything. At the end of the day, if you leave the business, you're not bringing anything to the table because you didn't learn anything. right? So it's really about you changing your mindset. Change your mindset to be independent. It's fine. I mean, we young women, we like to have guys give us stuff, which is not bad. Me, I don't have a problem with that. My husband buys me stuff. I will easily throw you a bill. But when I'm throwing you a bill, I'm not going to throw you a bill for fried rice or send me Momo 100 Ghana or like buy me prepaid. No. Like if I'm a lady and I can afford those things by myself, like how are you come to talk to me and tell me you're going to buy me Momo 100 Ghana? Like no, I don't want that. Do you get it? So I'm just trying to sensitize you that you can make it. It's not easy. It's whoever tells you it's easy is telling you a lie. Because people who are in business are still, especially in our climate that we are in, like starting a business and doing so many things is so hard. And I understand that. But I believe there's the power in partnership around the people that you have even here. Because everybody has some experience. Maybe you are good in marketing, someone is good in graphic design. Like come together. That Menkominya kind of thing, it should be a thing of the past. Work together, build something together, but always put it on contract. Even between friends, best friends, have a contract and work together. So at the end of the day, it's not like, okay, 5 years down the road, people grow apart and then you're like, okay, maybe you don't want to work together anymore. Fine. But when you have on paper, okay, this was 50-50 or 50-60 or whatever it is, you all have an agreement and everybody takes their share and they leave. But that is also an experience that you have had for yourself. So next time when you go into another partnership or you meet somebody, it's different. You know what you want, you know what you're bringing to the table, and you know what you want to get out of it. Never be afraid to put things on paper. One last thing, savings. One thing, savings. I know it's hard. It's hard to put money away. It's hard to put money away. But a book, I don't know, maybe some of you have heard me say this, but a book that changed my thoughts, my mind around savings was The Richest Man in Babylon. Who has heard about that? It's a very, very small book. I don't think it's up to even 100 pages. But even if you can't get through the book, if you read the first 20 pages or 30 pages, you get the gist of it. It says, if someone gives you money, let's say 100 Ghana, or you have 100 Ghana cedis, that 100 Ghana cedis that you have, you probably buy things with it, right? You are giving it, you are giving it out. You are paying people for a service, right? So why are you not paying yourself? So pay yourself. Take a percentage of that 100 Ghana cedis. If it's 10%, that's what 1 cedi. Put it away, and you are paying yourself. Put it away and say, this is what I'm paying myself. Any amount of money that comes through your hand and you receive it, put 10%, because you tithe, right? You tithe 10% at church. You tithe, you buy hair, you buy clothes. Pay yourself. Put it. Say some. Yes. Put it as something that is for you, and don't touch it. And weirdly enough, when you do that, you realize that money comes to you more often because you are changing your relationship that you have with money, right? You are attracting money because money knows that when it comes to you, you are actually doing something with it and not just squandering it. Okay. So if nothing at all, read that book. And hopefully that will change the way you see money, the way you handle money, and start something. Don't wait and say that you want to, get married and then someone will come and take care of you. Thank you so much, Tracy. Are there any financially literate women among us from this conversation? Okay. Oh yeah, from hand to mouth, eh? And let me come to you. We have different kinds of women. It's okay for those who want to become stay-at-home moms and raise the next generation of leaders as well.
It's okay for a woman to also say, yay, I'm going to lead a protest to campaign on menstrual tax. Don't tax my period. It's okay to also sit down and lead from behind and help the next generation of women. But what does it mean for you to not only shatter the glass ceiling, but to put a ladder down for other women to climb up? Because there are mainly women who feel disappointed. So first SLC president, we are all happy, and then you realize the person isn't making an impact. First female vice president very soon, or president soon, and then everyone is happy, and then the euphoria dies down. Kamala Harris, she came, everyone was, now they are all disappointed. What does it take to make an impact?
This is a very important question. Like, it is such an important question. Oftentimes, we celebrate the wins, like you rightly said. First, SRC President of Ghana Institute of Journalism. And we think that that's it, we are done. We think that the minute the person has become the first female this or that, that's the end of the story. Actually, that's the beginning of the story. You see, and we always fail to realize that. I remember when Fati, and forgive me that I keep going back to Fati, I find her so inspiring, like she blows my mind, so forgive me that I keep referencing her. But when Fati won and she sent me a text, you know, obviously saying, no, thank you for this or that or that, I just replied and said, Fati, we are just starting. Like, you've won, okay, move away from there, right? Because the point is that if she fails, hey, do you understand that? Do you understand? Every time one woman fails, that takes us back to 50 years of the full journey to get us there. And it would always be used as a reference point. Always. If people say women are this, look at her, look at that. So it is more important for us as women to help our fellow women succeed. It's more important than anything else. I met Prof. Nana Opoku-Agyeman a couple of years back when she was Vice Chancellor first female Vice Chancellor for UCC. I invited her for Obaasima at a time when Obaasima wasn't a thing. She raised her brand and her image, and she came and she headlined the first summit that we did. And there was just something about her invitation that sort of made me fall in love with, you know, her. After everything, after the program and everything, of course I called to say thank you. And she said to me, she said, Amma, now that the program has been so successful, all of us are sharing in the glory. But we don't know how you struggled to get it here. So from now, call me ahead. Call me for the events. Call me when you are planning. Call me when you are struggling with how to put it together. Let's help you. So when the glory comes, and we are the ones with the microphone and we are taking the pictures, we will know that we actually were with you through the struggle to get here. And when she said that to me that day, she had bought me, I was for her, right? And so and I also had the opportunity of interviewing her on my show before she was mentioned that time. And at the time I'd heard whispers, you know, there were whispers that they could call her. So I'd asked her on the show, I said, Prof, so what if you are elected as, you know, vice president? She said, why not? Right? Which was also very exciting because as women, our instinct would say, oh, you know, women, we always like to be and forced and coerced into positions. We never sort of put our hands up and say, pick me, or I can do it, or so that also was refreshing. But when her name was mentioned, I put my job down. I had a 2-year-old son at the time, see you, right? And I followed her across the country, followed her and campaigned with her, because it is important that we make sure that our women succeed. That's the most important thing. Right now, KNUST, Yvonne, she's the first female SRC president. It is important that everybody in the university helped her to succeed. That is how we keep the door open, right? Every interview I've had, I'll give a class recently, TV Africa. I just went to speak on the Don't Tax My Period campaign, and you know that we went to Parliament for a protest, and we are still protesting. Listen, I should have been the one in red with Tracy. We are very angry about, what is happening. But after that, one of the technical crew sort of met me outside and said, "Hey, Ama, this one you're serious like this and talking plenty like this. I'm sure you're eyeing some position." And I said, no, it's not always about that. All of us, 52% of this population, we can't all be the first female vice president. Can we all be that? Can we all be gender minister? Can we all enter the House of Parliament? But can we all support those who... Right? So we all have a role to play. And sometimes, you don't need a position to do. That sometimes... sometimes that's where we get it wrong. Sometimes we don't need a position to do. So recently, Obaasima Academy, I cannot even take credit for it. It's the lady saying to me that we come to these events, you empower us, we feel, all hyped for action. But once we leave, that's it. And it's like that till the next year when we come and you give the microphone to Portia or Tracy or Kathy or somebody, and then they give us vim. And in the moment, we are so, I can conquer the world. But you step out in the next 2 days, life gives you 2 blows. And then, so they said, we want something that continues. We want something that's more sustainable. We want more conversations. And, the point is that in your corner, wherever you are, no matter how small you think your contribution is, shine. Right now, because of Fatih, because of Yvonne, because of the 2 presidents we have in UDS, the Ankara campus and the other campus, first year students are saying, when I get there, I'm also going to contest. See. Now, because of them, students, I dare say, there are big men in this country who, because of these students, are saying that next year, I'll also try for parliament. So it will shock you that they seem like, students, you have no idea who they are inspiring. The big women they are inspiring. The countries they can change. So for me, shattering the ceiling, holding the door, is not always about being the first female president of Ghana. It's about being the most qualified woman where you are. It's about being the most effective woman where you are. It's about shining where you are. Right now. That's it. If we are all shining, if everyone is shining bright, we won't need women empowerment seminars. We won't. Thank you.
And like the late Martin Luther King also did say he said, not all of us can be famous, but all of us can be great. Yeah. Let me come to you, Catherine. In contributing to national development as women, we jump hurdles every day. So I'm supposed to report to work at 8 a.m. with my male colleague. In the morning, he will have to bath and then sit in his car and drive to work. I have to jump hurdles. I have to take care of the children. I have to cook. I have to feed them. I have to drive them to school. And even sometimes with the feeding, Mommy, I don't want to eat today. And we have to force. There was one time I was very late to go to work, and I sat in the car with the kids, and then the little one came to say, I want to poo-poo. I'm like, I refuse poo-poo in Jesus' name. But these are realities. We have to jump these hurdles. They say exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. After 3 months, I'm supposed to come to work. What friendly policies can we put in place? Some are already in place, but still, we are not seeing top. I know of a country, a workplace where when you are menstruating and you're having menstrual pain, they allow you to even stay home. But what other policies can we put in place to ensure that women thrive?
Yeah, I really relate with what you're saying. I mean, this morning, getting up to come here, if you know the tactics to dodge my 2-year-old coming here, we need policies for sure. But in a situation where the people making the policies are not us, most of the people who are in leadership positions are men who do not understand or who do not feel the pressures and the pains that we go through. It's a problem. And so that is why you see that in our situation, a lot of the things are taken for granted because the men don't understand. And it takes us getting to those leadership positions and forcing people in the room to acknowledge what they have missed all these years to make things happen. But definitely we need women-friendly policies in Ghana. We need policies that allows nursing mothers to be able to come to work. I think Madam Joyce Bauer was talking about in Parliament where they were proposing to have nurseries in the Parliament House so that women will feel confident that even when I'm pregnant and I have a baby, I can still be a member of Parliament and take my kids to work. Recently, I was at a Shraj human rights workshop where they were talking about how we can have a more equitable workplace in Ghana. I think that the onus is also on business owners because majority of people in Ghana, for businesses, I mean, government just employs probably about 30%. It's also on business owners to try and make workplaces more conducive. Policies can be made, but if they are not effective, if they are not effective, then we're just talking and talking all the time. So there needs to be political will, but there also needs to be intentionality about making things work for women. And I would say that it goes back to the beginning. We need more women to be in these leadership roles, to make the decisions for us. Because we can't be in a room where, in an office where your CEO, HR, everyone is a man. And then you go and say that, today my daughter was not feeling well, so I couldn't come to work or I need a break. And they frown at you and they look at you funny because they don't understand. But the more women we have in Parliament who can push bills or policies or legislature to affect women, I think the better we can have things that are more equitable for women. So for now, I think we should just push. We should just push more women to get there. I must support women irrespective of whether there's NDC or MPP. And let's stop looking at women with a negative eye. I mean, I just want to talk about the fact that when women assume roles, there's so much that is expected of them. Everybody assumes that she's going to be the best leader that we ever had, and not thinking that she's also human. And because women are very few, the microscope is enlarged. And so when she makes one little mistake, it becomes a big thing. But there probably will be 10 or 20 men who are making the same mistakes and no one is talking about it. And so we need to support our women. Unfortunately, we women, we don't do that enough. When we have a woman CEO, it is interesting to know that the biggest people who complain and say negative things about the CEO is the women in the organization. Men rather would applaud and work with them. So we need to accept our own. We need to help our own. We need to accept that we are women. We are different at how we approach things. We are different at how we take up leadership roles, and support the woman who is up there. Because when she succeeds, we succeed as well. If she doesn't succeed, everyone will think that every woman is a bad leader, when that is not the case. So we need to accept to support more women leaders, and also for the women who take up the leadership roles. Because opportunity is limited or small, most of the times in an environment where you think you don't have opportunity, you feel that you have to be there alone. You want to be able to hold everything onto yourself. You don't want to open up because you're scared of losing that opportunity. And so when women leaders see other women leaders coming up, you need to help them. You need to open the door. You need to accept and bring them up. Someone might be thinking, okay, I am women's commissioner today, and someone else wants to become a woman, or I want to become SRC president, and I see another woman SRC president coming down the line. All of a sudden, then there becomes enmity. Then we think that she's my competition. we need to learn how to work together and cooperate, and that is the only way women can advance our cause. We can have all these mini women empowerment, whatever, but until we all come together and accept that we are each other's keeper, I don't think we are going anywhere. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And in addition to what you said, we should complement each other as women. I remember when I started, I was reading news Monday to Friday. It got to a point the company said, we don't want you to read again. We want another woman to come and then read the news. So it meant that me being in the background for another woman to shine. It was a difficult period, but that's when I also developed my journalism skills. And that's when I started winning awards with my journalism skills that other international networks did recognize me. So I didn't have to be jealous that another woman was taking the spotlight. And in the end, I came back and I still read Monday to Friday. So don't be jealous, okay? Find a way of working around difficult moments in your career. I'll be handing over the microphone to you shortly to ask your questions, but let's end with Akosua. Why is it important for a woman to lead CSR projects?
The conversation that went on here, I want to contribute a little, and then I'll continue with mine. Now the narrative is changing a bit. First, when you hear women empowerment, it's like we want to box the men, but now it's changing. But I always there's this adage that goes, if what a man can do, a woman can do better. For me, if a man can do, I will allow him to do it and enjoy it. Whether we like it or not, there are some things meant for men. We can do it, but we can't do it better than the men. There are some things that we can also do and do it better than the men. What we need to do is that we have this power, for woman power that God has instilled in us. And we can use that power to let the men do what will make us comfortable for us everywhere, in our homes, in our offices. I'm tempted to use the CEO for Media Journal as an example. She started as a normal reporter. At some point, she left the media, came back.
She was actually asked to go.
Exactly,
yeah,
because
redundancy, and they made her go, but she came back to become a CEO.
A CEO. Oh, okay. And she's doing so well. So no man is telling any woman not to do what they want to do. We are putting a limit to ourselves. And this is because over the years, our parents, the environment we live in has set a certain standard for us, and we want to toe that line. But I am happy that conversations like this is changing the mental, the thinking of women, and now women are taking huge positions. The CEO for Vodafone, she also has a very beautiful story. So for me, no one can put a limit on you unless you yourself.
Thank you so much. I mean, life will also throw curveballs at you. Just because you're labor pains does not mean you should not push your baby out, right? Keep pushing.
The Not This Widow Foundation is happy to announce its free first luncheon and workshop. We will be hosting up to 75 amazing women on Saturday, the 23rd of September, 2023. If you've been widowed and would like to join us, please register on Eventbrite. But that's not all. We have live music, speakers, free goodie bags, and so much more. If you would like to sponsor a widow, get in touch at www.notthiswidow.org. Join us on Saturday, the 23rd of September, and let us celebrate you. Not This Widow, living life in peace, power, and purpose. This event is sponsored by Bureau and Pan Africa TV.
Looking back at the good times.
Are you searching for the perfect venue to host your next event? Look no further than Mirrors Event Plus. Discover the epitome of sophistication with our Skybox Event Center. This indoor marvel offers spacious hall area accommodating up to 500 esteemed guests. This beautifully designed space can be tailored to suit various event types, from weddings and corporate gatherings to cultural celebrations and more. We give you a kitchen space where your culinary creativity takes center stage, from gourmet feast to delectable treats. Our kitchen is the heart of flavor and delight. Our luxurious washrooms ensure comfort and convenience for all attendees, as well as maintaining the elegance of a special day. Our breathtaking waiting area is designed to make a lasting impression, while our top-of-the-range changing rooms are befitting of the VIPs of your event. Experience nature's charm at Techiwa's grounds. Host an unforgettable outdoor event at the spacious and beautiful Techiwa grounds, featuring a lush lawn or terrace area capable of accommodating up to 700 cherished guests. Our changing rooms also provide privacy and ease for your special guests. Call us now on 030-341-6266 or 053-029-6067. Mirrors Event Plus, where celebrations come to life.
So we want to invite the Denotes Women's Commissioner, Ms. Abigail Asso. She'll give us the vote of thanks. We'll definitely thank you and thank the panelists, and then from there we'll do something short before we leave.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Hi. I'm sure you have had a good time. Yes. From Morton this end, right? Yes. Okay, that's fine. First of all, yeah, first of all, I want to thank Almighty God for giving us the breath of life. We go to sleep with no assurance of waking up yet. We have our plans for the day, and He has given us life. As we start to put this program together, He has made it a success. He saw you through your journey from Takoradi, Koforidia didn't come, Cape Coast, right? And then Accra, and then Ho. In fact, clap for yourselves. You know that there's one challenge that we all actually face gathering all of you here. You know that our academic calendar is not the same. When you fix a program on a date, it doesn't favor a school. A school is writing exams, another school is having elections here and there. And for us to gather all of you here was one of the difficult tasks that was on board. But you, even Takoradi and Accra, you are still writing exams, but some of you, Cape Coast too, you are writing exams. Almost you all are writing exams, but you are all gathered here and you have ensured that the program has gone the way we planned. Clap for yourselves again. Eve International, yes, Eve International. and then Genote is very grateful. In fact, EIB International is one of the capacity building initiatives, or let me say association, that I have joined, and has really gotten me so much exposed to a lot of things that I least expected. Ordinarily, I wouldn't have gotten certain opportunities, and yes, but because of EIB International, I have gotten that exposure, and all of these programs have come this far. Let's put our hands together for EIB International. Yes, and I also want to thank our speakers. When we went to them with this initiative, they embraced us and accepted to be part of the program, and they all have their shadows. Yes, but they took time out of their tight schedules, and they have made it a point to be here to share their knowledge and insight with us, to transform us, to make impact in our life, and also to help us grow in our ambitions. From Prof. Nana, Honorable Joyce Barr, Honorable Tina, Dr. Tina, Oswald, Mrs. Tracy Owusu Addo, Auntie Adriana, Maame Ama Pratt, Portia Gabor, and Auntie Kathy. Yes. Yes. They have all been very strong women behind our growth in the task we have taken upon ourselves. Some of you may know Auntie Kathy from the Wukong branch that we came for. Some of you may know Mrs. Tracy Owusu Addo, Tracy Success. Yes, from the Sanctuary Park Bank project virtual program that we organized. Some of you may know Maame Ama Pratt from Obaasima, because most of you have participated in the Obaasima Summit as well. And they have really contributed immensely to growing our ambitions. Let's put our hands together for them. Yes, and then we have some other strong women too here who have contributed greatly into our growth. Madam Adeline Beidu, yes, Madam Adeline Beidu, yes. Madam Adeline Beidu is the founder of Ghana Women's Forum. All the time she's organizing women empowerment summits, virtual, here and there. She's bombarding us with a lot of programs, and we don't give up encountering all of this, because we know what it can do for our lives. So we pray that God give them strength to keep on doing what they are doing. And also, I want to thank, unfortunately, the National Executive Committee are all outside. Richard, kindly call all of them for me, and all of the alumni that are outside. They have all contributed in putting this program together. The coordinating secretary, the research and education officer, the PRO, the treasurer, everybody, every single soul. And then also my boss, Daniel Isuman. Yes. Oh, let's put our hands together for that gentleman in the yes. In fact, I have personally putting him through a lot of stress with pressure here and there. But he never gave up on me. We kept pressing on, and we are all seeing today. Our graphic designer, he would do this, I would say I don't like, he should do again. It got to a point, I said I was at loggerheads with him. Yes, because he's not paying me attention. Philip, we appreciate all the artwork. You see how beautiful I'm looking on the screens? Yes. Yes, Philip, God richly bless you for everything you have contributed to EIB International. We have our advisory board. The advisory board in the union, Genote Union, we have advisory board members who put their advices together and then put us on the right path when we are going wayward. And today we were honored to have the vice chair of the advisory board of Genote here, Ms. Sandra Lewuteko, who was also a former National Women's Commissioner. Madam, God richly bless you for everything that you have contributed to growing us. Yes, please, Duluth executives, please come. And we also have our lovely Campus Style. I'm sure you all know Campus Style. He has been with us for years. Every technical university program, you find Campus Style there. Oh, Campus Style, give us a wave there. Campus Style, yeah. Thank you very much for being with us all the time. Yeah, so the Duluth, oh, please come here and let them see you, okay? Yeah. So this is Miss Sarah Kwa, the Research and Education Officer. This is Honorable Christian Akosua Adjei, the PRO. And then we have our Head Coordinating Secretary, Musa Mohammed Koesi. Oh, please put your hands together for them. They have really done well. And you know, the billionaire of the union. The billionaire of the union. Yes. Should I say Mr. Honorable or Honorable Mr.? Honorable Mr. Matthew Akosua Adjei. He is the, Akosua Adjei. Yes, he is the National Treasurer. And he has also really contributed his strength. All of them have contributed their strength to making this program a success. Unfortunately, our president and secretary are students of Bolga Tanga Technical University, and because of their exams, they couldn't join us. Wherever they are, we say we appreciate their efforts. Put your hands together for all of us. Finally, I want to thank the Wukoms. My Wukoms, please, where are you? Give me a wave. Accra Wukom, Takrady Wukom, CCT Wukom. Hey, all the men are raising their hands. Are you Wukoms? Men's commissioners, thank you all. Yes, and all of the students that came with your Wukoms and your executives. In fact, I love you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. In fact, had it not been your presence, who were these speakers going to talk to? But you are here and you have also contributed to the success of the program. In fact, we appreciate you all and we yearn for this more and more and more. Thank you all. Oh, clap for me, please clap for me.
Hello, information. Madam, me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, aren't they?
Madam, relax. Look, that's not why I did call. I just visited IPCP. What the engineers told me